For this tutorial, I would like to go over a design pattern called the factory method pattern. To start off with, let's go ahead with the definition. So what is a factory method pattern? Well, it's a creational design pattern that provides an interface for creating objects in a superclass, but allows subclasses to alter the type of objects that will be created. The factory method pattern has four components. You have the concrete creator, which is also the client. You have a creator, which is considered the factory. You have the product, which is also the interface or abstract class, and you have a concrete product, which is the subclasses that implement the interface or extends the product abstract class. What are the pros or benefits of using a factory method pattern? Well, it provides encapsulation, meaning that it encapsulates the object creation process within a dedicated method or class. This isolates the client code from the details of object creation, promoting better encapsulation and reducing dependencies. It also provides flexibility, meaning you can implement the same interface but provide different implementations for the methods. For the use cases, when you might want to consider using the factory method pattern is when you want to provide a common interface for creating objects while hiding the creation logic from the client code, and also when you anticipate adding or modifying product classes in the future, as it provides a flexible way to introduce new product types without modifying existing code. Okay. So that is a little insight into what the factory method pattern is. Here is a diagram. If we look over here at the diagram to the right, we have a factory pattern demo, and this is essentially the client in this example. And you can see that the client is asking the factory to create a specific shape. And we have three possible shapes that could be created from this factory. We have a circle, square, and rectangle. Okay, and if you look here at the we see that this shape is considered the interface, meaning that this is essentially the blueprint for the subclasses that want to implement this particular interface. In other words, it's saying that any child class that wants to implement the shape interface, they must use the methods, the method that's being used here for the parent. So they all have the draw. But the benefit of using this factory pattern is that all of these have the draw pattern method that have to be incorporated. However, there's a great flexibility provided here, meaning that the draw method for each one of these objects can have their own specific implementation of how that the draw method will happen. So for the draw method for circle, it's going to draw a circle specific to how a circle will be created, and the same with the square. It's going to draw a square specific to how a square would be created. All right, so the implementation is different. So let's go ahead and take a look at, let's go ahead and start coding an example of this factory method pattern. In this case, what I want to do is I want to set up an example for the factory method using, say, like a restaurant. Okay, the restaurant, I'm going to call it George's factory. George's restaurant will be the factory. Okay, and within George's restaurant, we can create different menu items. Okay, we can create a pizza, we can create burger, we can create pasta, soup, and whatever menu item you can think of. Okay, so we are going to base this off an example for a restaurant. So let's go ahead and let's see here. All right, so we're going to start off by going here to the source folder, and I'm going to create a folder called factories. Okay, and within this factories folder, I'm going to create a file. I'm going to call it George's Factory. Okay, .ts. All right, so I'm gonna leave this to the side for now. We'll get back to it later, but this is gonna be the factory for creating our objects. Okay. All right. So next, let's see here. All right. Next, we're going to let's go ahead and work on this portion here of the diagram. All right. So we're gonna start off with the interface. So the interface, our interface here, actually, we're gonna create our folder first. And let's call this folder, we'll do menu items plural, and then within this menu items folder, let's go ahead and create a file called menu item.ts. Okay. All right. Within this file, this is where we're going to create our interface, and we are going to call it, we're going to do an export because we're going to make use of it else in other places. We're going to export interface and call this menu item. Okay, and then we're going to have three properties for this example. We're going to do name of type string. We got description of type string, and then we're going to have a price of number. In addition to this, we're going to add a method, and we're going to call it get details, and this will be void because we're not going to return anything for this one. All right, and that's it. So this interface is acting as a blueprint, okay, or the signature for the subclasses that want to implement this. Okay, so we took care of this part here of the diagram. So now let's go ahead and work on these individual subclasses or concrete classes for that will implement the interface. All right, so within the menu items folder, we're gonna go ahead and create a file here. And this first file, we're gonna call it pizza.ts. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we're going to start off by importing the menu item interface, just like so. All right, let's go ahead and create our class. We're going to have to export that, export class, and we'll call this pizza and say implements the menu item. Okay. Next, we'll create our constructor. This will be a public name type string. And then this one's public description type string as well. And then our third one is the price, which is a number. Okay. Oh, and then there we go. All right, and then we also mentioned that this, if we go here to the interface, we also added a method called getDetails. So let's go ahead and add that. So getDetails. It's going to be void. All right, and what I'm going to do here is I am going to, I would like to have this nicely formatted when this displays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, oh, no, not this one. Okay, we're going to set this up like so, just so it can be nicely formatted when we see the final output of this. And I'm going to do 2, all right? And within these, this is where I'm actually going to display like the menu details. So I'm going to do another console log here within. And then I'm going to do backticks. We're going to start off with name and then provide the variable for the name, or actually this dot name, right? There we go. And then we're going to do a backtick. We're going to do create a new line here. And do the same thing here. As a matter of fact, I can go here. I'm just going to copy this whole thing here and then paste it. And then, actually, there we go. Just remove that part And there we go. And this one we're going to change from name to call it, there we go, to description. And this will be this description. Then there we go. All right, and then for the final one, we'll do it for the price. So this will be, oops, keep deleting it. All right, there we go. Price, and then just that price. All right, so we got our method set up now. Okay, so at this point, what we can do is we can go ahead and copy this right here, all of this code right here, and paste it for our burger and our pasta, because essentially it's going to be the same thing. All right, so but we're going to have to create those files. So go ahead and create a new file here. This one is going to be the burger TS, and then create one more for the pasta TS. All right. All right, so now going to the burger, we can go ahead and paste that code, and we'll just have to change pizza to burger. All right, and everything else pretty much, yeah, it stays the same. All right, and we'll go to the pasta, same thing, paste it, and just tweak this to say pasta. All right. Okay, so at this point we have pizza, burger, and pasta. So essentially, it's, if we look at this diagram, it's kind of like they would be right here, right? So they are, the pizza, pasta, and burger are implementing the menu item interface, which is here. All right. Okay, so that takes care of that. So the next step is we took care of this part here. So the next part is actually going to the creating the factory that will instantiate these objects and create them for us. Okay. All right. So what we'll do is we'll go to the factories folder, and oh, actually we have it right here. It's just empty. Okay, so let's start working on this one. We're gonna go and start off by importing the interface, which is menu item, and then we also have to import the individual concrete products, or the subclasses. So the first one was the pizza, and we can do the same. Yep, the burger. There we go. And then the final one was the pasta. Perfect. Okay. All right, next step is we're going to go ahead and create our class. We're going to do export class, and I'm going to call this George's Factory. And within George's Factory, we're going to have a static method called create. This create method will take in an argument of the let's call it a food item or food type, and this would be of type string. The return will be, it's going to be either of type menu item or null. Okay. All right. So now, and within this within this method, what we're going to want to do is create a switch statement. Now, there are alternatives to this. You could, if you wanted to use an if-else statement. For me personally, I think it would be clunky. I think it's a lot cleaner to use a switch. So that's what we're going to do here. We'll do a switch on the food type. All right. So the food type. And then if it's a pizza, then we're gonna want to do something. And what is it we want to do? Well, we're gonna want to return or create a pizza object. So we'll do a return new pizza. And then here, remember, we have 3 arguments that we have to pass. for the pizza, we have the name, description, and price. Okay, and that would be the same for the other objects as well, the burger and pasta. So let's go back here to the pizza. So for the pizza, for the name, I'm going to just say whatever, just say pizza, and then description, say Mama's Pizza from Sicily. And then for the price, we'll say it's $15. Okay, and then we're going to break out of that, and then we'll do another case for checking if it's a burger. As a matter of fact, what we can do here is, so we don't have to repeat ourselves, I'll go ahead and copy this case statement here and just paste it two additional times. There we go. Just do some formatting here. All right, there we go. Feel like I'm doing this the hard way. All right, so that's better. All right, so now we'll do the other one. So this one is gonna be burger, and then we got the pasta, right? There we go. All right, we'll change this from, we'll do some tweaking here, and this is supposed to be burger, and for the name, this is just call it burger. For the description of burger, we'll say straight off the grill. Straight off the grill. Price, we'll say it's $8. Okay, and for the pasta, change this to pasta. Pasta. Description. Melty, we'll say melty, cheesy pasta, whatever, right? All right, and then the pasta will charge at $16. All right, and then just one more thing I forgot to add was the default. So in case the user provides something other than a valid food item or food type, then we just want to return null. Okay, and then that's it. So that completes our factory right here. And this is where all the instantiation logic will occur. And finally, if we look at this diagram, we have to work on this client. So the client is what starts everything off, right? By requesting or asking the factory what it wants. In this case, it's going to want to ask the factory to make the food item, what the pizza, pasta, or whatever it is, right? All right, so let's go ahead and go to the index, and we'll import that factory. We'll say George's factory. Okay, we'll come down here and let's do. And mind you that that since we're making this method, since it's a static method, that means that we don't have to instantiate it by using the new keyword. Instead, we can just say George's factory and .create. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. We're going to say George's factory .create, and then what is it that we want to create for this example? Well, we can start off by saying burger, and then let's store that value within a variable, and we'll call it food item. Okay, so at this point we should have a food item here with the burger object. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out, right? Let's go and see what we get. We'll do console log food item, and I'll go ahead and expand this here, and I'll do a node. Let me go. There we go, node.index.js. Okay, so here you see we get the object back, right? It's a burger with the name burger, description, straight off the grill, and then the price of $8. All right, perfect, so that's working. So next is let's go ahead and output the details of this burger. So remember that we have, let's see here. We also have a method for all of these, right? It's called get details, and it's gonna give us a formatted string with the name, description, and price, right? Okay, so let's go here and call that method. I'm just gonna go right up here, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be food item dot get details, just like so. And this question mark that just appeared right here, that's just saying that if we look over here, you see that it could be that this food item could be either menu item or null, right? Because over here when we create our factory, we said that this could return either a type of menu item or null, okay? In case you were wondering what that question mark was all about. Okay, so now let's go ahead and store the result of this into a variable called, we'll say food details, or let's just say, yeah, whatever, food details, just like so. And then we'll console log that. We'll say food details, just like so, and let's see what we get here. So save, and I'm going to clear the console here and rerun node.index.js. And now you see here we get a nicely formatted output for the name, burger, description straight off the grill, and so on, so on. And what's great about this method is that you see here, I mean, this is a client here. Typically, you might see, you might have code that you see the new keyword being, thrown around a lot within here. And that's exactly what this factory method pattern does. It hides that abstraction from the user. The user doesn't need to know all of the details as to how a burger is being created or how the pizza is being created, and so on, right? Instead, we just want the user just to know that, hey, within this factory, we got a method called create, and all you have to do is pass in the food item that you want to create, and that's it. And it will return to the user that food item. And that's what we're doing here. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do another test. So we did burger already. So let's just say pizza instead, right? Let's have the factory create a pizza for us. All right. We'll rerun this code. And then now you see over here, we get the pizza, Mama's Pizza from Sicily, and the price. Okay. All right, so this is great. I mean, you can think about many different use cases we could use for the factory pattern. I mean, think about like a menu for a restaurant with all the items, and there's just so many endless possibilities for what you can use this pattern for. All right, so that's pretty much it for this lecture, and that's it.